Hello, happy Canada Day, and here we are with your July Wine Club box. So this is our luxury box this month, and we'll do a quick pan so you guys can see all of the fun labels we have, and then we'll jump right into it. So the first one up today is a Spanish white. This is the Vega Mezcan Verdejo. Spanish, obviously, from Rueda, an area, it's kind of in a really rad spot where it's got the Mediterranean influence right there, but it also sits at quite a high altitude for how close it is. So you get mountain fruit, not cool climate by any means, but that freshness of the fruit, as well as Mediterranean. So the Verdejo itself, it's kind of that medium body, something that, same with the Alvarino we did in the silver. But this is one where it's, you pick the grapes, you ferment the grapes, bottle it, drink it, right? This is not one that's meant to age or cellar or stand the test of time by any means. But as we roll into July in the thick of it, it's a great option that's kind of just an easy grab for summer, for the patio. With oily fish, it would be great. If you can't remember that, there's a pretty big cheat sheet right on the label. But I would definitely stay, closer to the oily fish vibe than, a salmon or a halibut or something like that. But it has lots of citrus. It has, some orange blossoms, that minerality coming through. Pretty round mouthfeel for how crisp it is, and a nice clean finish. So easy drinking, Rueda. This family's been around in there since the 90s. Moving on, and there's some fun ones today, which Wine Club is all about. So this one is from Chateau Boucasse. This is their Jardin des Philosophiques, the philosophical garden, and playing off the soils, of course. This one is technically from Languedoc-Roussillon, but it comes from much more specific zones. The Brumont family identified two different areas, even within there. So they have, but they have, two separate properties, the Boucasse, which definitely you feel more of that ocean, maritime kind of influence. And then right down here, they have Montus as well, which, it's wild. They're not that far apart, but that one, you get a lot more of the Mediterranean. So those ones are on the way as well, not in this month, but we're starting with their Boucasse. So this is white, a family that, it kind of, you hear it all the time now, right? But they work with grapes of that area of the region. They wanted, indigenous grapes. They wanted to showcase the authenticity, the sense of place, the soils, terroirs, so on, which, we hear that all the time now. But in 79, 45 years ago, when they were coming up, it wasn't something that was, in the forefront of minds necessarily. So it was very cutting edge. This wine is oh my gosh, Petit Corbu, Petit Corbu and Petit Marsanne, which the Corbu, it's a really fun grape. It's a white that needs a lot of age. This is the 2017, but even wilder than that was when I was trying this one, they had their 14 as well, which was 100% Petit Corbu. And it was so, you never would have guessed that it was a white that could be 10 years old and still be that fresh. So these are grapes that, they're very low yielding. They require a lot of time. They need to soften and, very gentle press, and, they're really cool. Something different. So it spends 1 year in stainless steel Surly, but definitely that fuller profile, rich fruits, nice smooth finish, slight, slate minerality coming through, some very gentle spiciness, but Jardin des Philosophiques. And then did another French white this month just because it's the 2018 Merjouet Cros. So this is their Vévine, or Old Vine Chardonnay. Vierclis is, it's Mâconnais. It's kind of central Burgundy, but the 2018, which is just super generous on the palate, super generous on the nose, showing fabulous right now. It's got, that really ripe fruit, that subtle honeysuckle coming through. It's really round. You definitely get more of the south kind of Burgundy coming up, but it has a little bit of restraint. It has that bright acid, that long, clean finish, with a little bit more of a north influence. And this, of course, this is our chicken or duck wine, and something with goat cheese if you wanted to do lighter fare or a salad or something like that. But the Meurgeois Cros. And now we'll roll into reds. So first up, we've got the I Heart Pizza from Richvale in Central Coast, California. So these are guys, their whole portfolio is very unorthodox. It's playing with grapes and styles and blends and things that you wouldn't normally, you wouldn't necessarily put carbonic on this grape, but they're doing all kinds of wild things right there. And the I Heart Pizza is one of them. So this is, a very light style, 59% Dolcetto, which, if we've had Dolcettos before, we've talked about them, it's a very light, mineral, juicy style grape that, was almost exclusively to Piedmont in northern Italy. But they're doing Dolcetto with Mataro and Cuné. So really fun blend, but just very light, smooth, bright acid, good fruit on the nose. A great, obviously, pizza or pasta wine. Next, we've got Kiona Vineyards Lemberger. So Kiona, we've had Powers before, I'm sure, but we've never had the actual Kiona Vineyards from Red Mountain AVA in Washington. So these guys were kind of on the forefront when everything was up and coming in Washington. Lemberger is, it's Blaufränkisch, which I think a lot of us, been having the Austrian rosés lately. We've been on that kick. And that Siegat Lensch Blaufränkisch rosé is that grape. So I don't know which one's more fun or easier to say, but it's the same one. It's obviously the North American vibe on it, but really cool. Like Campbell Valley, Austrian, it's cool climate, right? It's that leaner style, and they are very, very aware. They're taking that and putting it into that classic kind of Washington spin. So Kiona Vineyards started doing their first vintage was 1980 with this grape. And I don't know how many other places in North America even do the grape. So it's really fun. It's something different. Loads and loads of fruit on the nose. Like 2021, which is our vintage, was very hot there anyway. So you're getting lots of fruit. You get that earthiness and spice to it. This is something, if you're barbecuing or something on the grill, you can get away with that. It's really interesting. And finishing off with Brigaldara's Amarone del Valpolicella, but they're Casavecchi. So I know nobody in this in luxury has had the Casavecchi Amarone. We've all had the classic, they're classical, and most of you have had the Casavecchi Valpolicella as well. So if you recall, and I can talk to you again, but if you recall, the Casavecchi Valpolicella, this was one that we've never had anything like it. When we did, we paired it last year with bacon and Brussels sprout dish, and it's like bursting as aromatherapy. It smells like it's herbaceous and menthol, and it's like no Valpolicella I'd ever had before. So the Casavecchi Amarone is kind of like that. Now we're like chewing the potpourri. Like we are right in the thick of it. So Casavecchi is kind of cool. It's kind of like equivalent to a Grand Cru almost for Brigaldara, which they've been around since late 1800s. Very intimate knowledge of their soils, of the Veneto region, but with this one, it's just so different than the Amarones that any of their other single vineyards as well. So incredibly high altitude Casavecchi, high hill Amarone. I don't even know for sure. I want to say it was like 450 meters above sea level, but an area where it's a very long and slow ripening process. A vineyard that every year it consistently produces, and because of the late harvest, it's just everything It works, but everything is a little more drawn out. So this particular one is a pretty even blend of Corvina, Corione, and Rondinella. It's aged 2 years in small, like your French barrels, and 2 years in the large European oak barrels. So lots of time on this one. Lots of, like I said, right? Like if the other one was aromatherapy, this one's got that, but it's also got the dried cranberries and the thick, the chewy tannins that, you know, still are prominent at the end with a nice long finish. But just a really cool, different style of Amarone for us. Because, you know, there's lots of fresh wines here. It's July, but there's gonna be those nights where we still just need that big, bold Amarone. And if that night doesn't come, it can age for years and years and years. So we're covered on either front. So that is our luxury wine club this month. And again, we'll just give it some love one more time. And that's it. Again, thank you as always so much. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I will see you soon. Okay, bye.